decision making. An example, Glenn Big Baby Davis is sentenced to 2, almost 3 years, something like that. Like you say, 48 months or something like that. Allegedly defrauding the NBA benefits program. And I got a clip that he was telling this story, a little bit of his story. I don't want to play the whole thing, but shout out to Van Lathan and Rachel Lindsay at Higher Learning for letting him tell his story. But I want us to hear this because stuff happens in life, in this city. You're faced with opportunities, and I'm telling you, if you don't know what you're getting into, it's just best not to do it at all. That's the best way to look at it. And people can say, oh man, that's extreme. Guess what? You know what's more extreme? Having to do time, jail time, for something that you didn't know nothing about. You trusted other people to handle your responsibilities, and then the courts say they don't care. You're doing 2 years. Is that more extreme? Or would it have been better for him to say, you know what? I don't know what y'all talking about. I'm good. Don't even involve me in that. But let me know in the comments what you think. So, that's what I said. If you do not know about what you're getting into, don't do it. Not being able to slow down and pay attention to the details. That's sometimes one of the hard things to learn. The more you can learn that as an adult, growing up in the inner city and getting out, you can pay attention to the details. So let's play this clip real quick. I just want to play this clip real quick and let y'all.
And I think for a lot of people, they would be wondering like what your story is. So I guess my first question would be, what do you feel like is being said about you that's not true? What do you feel about where are people getting it wrong? What is your story?
Well, my story is the fact that I never defrauded the plan, and my intentions were never to defraud the plan. I had an injury in 2015 where the Los Angeles Clippers didn't tell me my ankle was broken. So I took it upon myself as a player, and I took it on myself, and also the education that they gave me on my foot, that the fact that it wasn't broken, so I kept playing. So, and I shot my foot up 3 times to play, and my foot was broken. I didn't know. I would have never shot my foot up if they would have told me it was broken. I would have never tried to play. And so me trying to play, it did more damage to my foot. And I didn't realize that until after the exit meeting. They didn't tell me my foot was broken. I had to find out from my own research and people in Baton Rouge that, hey, your foot's broken.
Okay. I'm not going to go against them on this. I mean, that kind of stuff happens all the time. Most companies or most businesses, if you're a product of theirs, they're going to try to get the most out of you. No dispute with that. I wouldn't even doubt if that even happened, you know what I'm saying? Because they're going to try to get the most out of you, especially when they know that you're going to be a free agent. Like he said, they knew that after he left that extra meeting, he was going to be a free agent. They weren't going to be responsible no more for his injury or rehab. So, and that's another thing. You have to know how to take care of your business. Like, if you know you don't feel right, you may have to pay for it, but go get a second opinion. Why are you still playing for him? Because the team doctor works for the team, not for you. You have to remember that. It's like at a job, HR is getting paid by the company, not by you.
And so now as a free agent, that's different, right? You're by yourself, you're rehabbing by yourself, and at the same time, life is hitting you, right? Going through a divorce. My agent's brother got shot, Daryl Hamilton from Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
It was a lot going on. And it put me in a big depression where you can see it. Where you can see where there's an assault charge, there's a drug charge that I had that went away, because weed is legal now. So it's just like I was going through so much.
So this is young people, or even adults like my age, man, you have to monitor you have to really keep yourself in the space to know and be aware of what's going on around you. That's why we're talking about decision making. Being able to say no to some things to prevent a lot of things from going on that could kind of fog your mind up. The more cleaner you can make decisions, that you start to develop that and saying no and knowing what to get involved in, what not to get involved in, the better off, the more peace you will have. But when you start getting tied up with different people, you start intertwining with these groups or that group, or you start things happen, or you be with a person that kind of can just take you through the hellacious relationship. You have to be mindful of all these things. Like, who am I meeting? Who am I talking to? Who am I with? You have to think about all these things. If not, you could be like this. It can start happening like a whirlwind, and it will bog you down.
And when they say you defraud the plan, it's like, it's impossible. Because of my background and my injury and what happened, I had a real injury. And so when you're having a real injury, you're coming from a place of like not trying to take, I'm trying to get it's old when I'm old. Like, you know what I mean? So, but the thing about it is that people don't realize the fact that the system is corrupt. There were hundreds of basketball players that wasn't on that list that literally got subpoenaed for the same thing. But
you want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
It sounds like he mad because he got caught, and he's saying there's hundreds of other players that didn't get caught. This is why I say, man, you gotta know how to handle business. In life, you gotta know how to handle business. Whether it's getting the right legal team, soon as you get any kind of whiff of it, getting the right legal team that can defend you when this stuff comes about. You gotta handle your business. You cannot, sometimes you just can't trust another person to handle your business. You gotta handle that, or you'll be in this situation.
You didn't hear nothing about it. They're on ESPN. They're on your favorite podcast. And so imagine if the NBA lets that get out. You know what I mean?
Explain to me what you're saying now.
So meaning that the fact that the Players Association and the owners came up with a collective bargaining agreement, right? The collective bargaining agreement had health insurance in there for the NBA players. So if you wanted to be a part of it, you put your money and the owners matches your money. This money doesn't come from taxpayers. This money comes from us. If the money would disappear, the money would go right back to us. So that's one of the issues also too, because now they're telling us that we have this money for these injuries, right? I just want to get compensated for what I've been through. And so running into this system, everybody is doing it.
So that statement that everybody's doing it.
Blade, ready to die.
It's always business. Never personal.
I remember that I told my mom that a couple times, and my mom would always tell me, I don't care what everybody else is doing. I'm talking to you. You is fit to get the whooping. You fit to get the punishment for it. I don't care what they doing. I'm talking to you. You're the one responsible for what you did. Sometimes, man, when you gotta be careful about how you talk about your role in these things, because the court, I'm telling you, the court doesn't care about what he didn't know. Once you receive something, when you're dealing with insurance that's fraudulent and they can prove it, you're done. It don't matter if somebody, I'll let them get to it.
You know what I mean? So I didn't want to sit here and rat on my friends and rat on the people that, I didn't want to do that. And so now I'm sitting here doing time for healthcare when I needed it.
So he said he didn't want to rat on nobody. He said that, he didn't want to rat on his friends. But guess what, guys?
There can be only one.
You want to be a stand-up guy? You want to be the man? This is what happens. you're gonna be doing 2 years because you don't want to cooperate. Not saying he didn't have to, it's his choice. But every choice, like I say, I just said a few minutes ago, at the end of the road, there's a toll that you gotta pay. He said, I didn't want to snitch, I didn't want to do that. Okay, go down that road. When you get to the end of the road, because you didn't want to do that, you wanted to go down this road, the piper said, you're gonna do 2 years and some change because of the road that you just went down. That's the toll you're gonna pay. That's how life is, guys. Life doesn't care. The law doesn't care if you're ignorant to the fact. The fact is that, you know, they threw the book at you, you match what was in the book, and sometimes and if you can't defend that, have a good law team to get you out of that, you're gonna get done. It's just kind of how the game go.
Blade, ready to die.
All right, let's keep watching.
You know, when I needed it, and when this doctor in Atlanta is a scam, and everybody knows this. And so he just basically told on me, right, to get his time cut.
So, he said a doctor in Atlanta. He lives in Baton Rouge. Think about this. He lives in Baton Rouge. He's going to a doctor in Atlanta. Keep listening.
He only got 6 months.
Of course, the doctor is going to tell on who he can tell on in order to get out of it. People do that all the time. That's why I'm telling you, you got to make a decision. You don't even know this doctor from a can of paint. You don't even know this dude. He in Atlanta. You live in Baton Rouge. You don't know this dude. And when he starts saying these things, only
allow nothing to be in your life that you cannot walk out on in 30 seconds flat if you spot the heat around the corner.
you got to know how to spot the heat, man.
I want to go back because you talk about an injury that you had that you didn't know. How did we get here? You know, to the point where, like, in between you having injury, you needing care, and then additional care outside of the injury to the ankle, because it was more than just the ankle, right, that you were receiving care from. So, like, how did we get here? How did this happen to the point? Because you've mentioned a couple of things. You were talking about the doctor in Atlanta, the insurance plan.
So, going back to the collecting the bargain agreement, there's money available, right? And I didn't know when I first got out. A friend of mine that's in this investigation is doing time. He came to me and he asked me, he said, hey, are you paying cash for all your injuries? And I said, yeah.
Now, he said a friend of his came and asked him, is he paying cash to for his medical help and resources? He's in the case too. So he came and asked you, are you paying cash?
My friend, huh? Yeah. Tell me why. Because he knows my first name?
How crazy is this is that if his friend knew that it was a scam and he brought it to you or him, he brought it to him, life, I'm trying to tell you, if you don't listen to nothing I say, life and the law does not care if you didn't know. The second he brought this to him, we could listen to, the decision, if it was me, I'm just saying if it was me, I know hindsight is 20/20, but when you don't understand about how it works, I understand that he has money set aside to use for medical expenses, but if you don't understand how it works, don't get entwined in the spider web when you don't know what you're doing. If you don't know everything about that, the ins and outs of that, don't do it. That's just me.
Right? And so he's educating me about this money that I have with the Players Association. and letting me know how much money I got. Being a friend, us basketball players, it's a brotherhood.
So, remember that. He said friend.
My friend, huh? Yeah. Tell me why. Because he knows my first name?
Now, he said his friend educated him on it. Here's my thing. When you talking about educating on stuff dealing with the government, the IRS, and insurance, you better know what you're talking about, and you better have your I's dotted and your T's crossed. You cannot learn about that kind of stuff in 5 minutes. It's not a 5-minute conversation. It's not. And in my opinion, he had the access to ask a professional about, hey, what is this? How am I eligible for it? Not your friend, a professional, somebody who knows about this. That's just my opinion. I'm just trying to tell you, when you deal with these things in life, the things that you did when you was younger and you was in school, you may not get in trouble for it. But as an adult, stuff count, and it can hurt you. I'm telling you, it can hurt you. And that's what happened, man. Trusting people that had no business probably even doing it.
Responsibility is it to let you know that this was available, like your agent,
my financial advisor, and my business partner, who was not doing that, who also took the stand on me and lied. And so basically, the collective bargaining agreement has this money that's available for us. And he came to me saying, hey, are you using cash? And I said, yeah. And so, okay, this is what you can do. I can help you, get the money that you deserve.
When he said, I can help you, this is the factoring into how you factor into making decisions. Oh, he said he can help me. Is he a professional at that? Does he know about insurance, transactions, and payments? He worked in insurance? Your financial advisor didn't tell you about it. Your agent didn't tell you about it. But your friend's telling you about it. But he doesn't work in insurance, and he's not versed in insurance transactions and claims and stuff like that. I'm telling you, if you play around with the insurance companies, government, and IRS, they will come for you. Mark my words, they will come for you. They don't care.
So we go to a doctor's office, right? And I'm thinking like, oh, okay, cool. We're going to a doctor's office and we're getting easy access. We don't have to go, everybody's back here, there's assistant and stuff, but we're just getting the right treatment. I'm not thinking nothing's wrong or I'm doing anything.
So, you have to slow down and pay attention to the details. You gotta slow down and pay attention to the details. Slow down, pay attention to the details. He said that your friend, not only did he educate you on it, but he took you to his doctor. Not your doctor that knows you, knows your body. He took you to his doctor.
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Let's keep listening.
So we go, we get the examines, and then 2 weeks later, Terrence Williams calls me. And I know Terrence Williams, but I don't know him.
So, another red flag. He said 2 weeks after he did that with his friend, went to the doctor's office of his friend. 2 weeks later, Terrence Williams called him. Let me tell you how crazy this is. He said, I know him, but I don't know him. Once again, decision making. Not judging the brother at all. I'm just telling you in life how you have to move in life. You have to be judicious about your decision. If somebody calls me and I know of you, but I don't know you, you're not going to convince me to do anything of that nature if I don't know you, because you could be selling me anything. But that's just me. I had the money, I would have just kept paying cash and getting it done. That way I don't have to worry about anything. The less overhead you can take away, the less liability of getting in trouble you can take away, I would, in my opinion, I would just do it. But that's just me.
There can be only one.
All right, let's keep watching.
My first time having a conversation with him. And so he asks me, hey man, why are you not answering the phone? Why are you not answering the phone? And I'm like, you know, I didn't know you, like, what's up? Like, he was like, hey man, I'm the one that did Allen's and I'm the one that helped this. I represent the Players Association.
Now, this is, in my opinion, this is when stuff get deep. When he said that I'm the one that did that for so-and-so XYZ, I'm the one that set it up. Now, just 2 seconds ago, he just said that I know him, but I don't know him like that. But he's telling you this.
Blade, ready to die.
You gotta think, man, before you make actions like that. I'm telling you, you have to think through these things. There's no way somebody can tell me they don't know me to do something like this, knowing that, like, say, insurance companies don't play around. They just don't. I'm telling you, they don't. Let's keep listening.
I'm like, you're a rep for the Players Association? He's telling everybody this. And so,
before I move on too, Terrence Williams told him that he was a rep for the Players Association. Now, I didn't even play basketball in the NBA, and I know who Terrence Williams was as a player. And I know for a fact he wasn't a part of the Players Association. He wasn't even that good to be a part of the Players Association. Most of the time, Chris Paul was a part of the Players Association. He wasn't on Chris Paul level at all. He was more on a Kyle Kuzma kind of level player, a third tier level, superstar, mid-level, and third tier. He was like third tier kind of a player. He wasn't like something that's gonna change your franchise, more like a role player kind of guy. Dude wasn't a part of the player. You have to think about what people are telling you. Like, why does he have to tell you something like that? And if you know that he's telling stories now, like he telling you this, red flag. Red flag. At this point, he probably should have been starting getting his legal team together right now, handling his business right now. Right now.
as we go along, we're having conversation, and I feel weird about it. So I get my financial advisor involved. And so I get him involved, he talks to him, and then he calls me back and he says, hey, review it, sign it, send it back. And for me, I'm thinking that's cool because this guy has done everything for me and for my whole life.
So, another thing, he trusted a financial advisor to do the back end stuff for him. He just signed it. A lot of people do this though, let's be honest. A lot of times with jobs, with offers and stuff like this, you just sign the paperwork because you don't want to read the whole thing. But what I'm telling you is before he sent them the paperwork, I'm talking about rewinded, before he got the paperwork, he talked to his financial advisor. Before that, he talked to Terrence Williams. Now let's go forward. Terrence Williams told him, he said, I don't know him like that. Terrence Williams said, I'm the one that set up the stuff for y'all to get the benefits. Then he said, I am a part of the Players Association, which it sounded like he was not. I don't remember him being a part of that. And then he talked to his financial advisor and sent him the paperwork and said, review it and sign it. And he said, notice he didn't say, I should have read it. He just said, I trusted him, and I took the paperwork and I just signed it. It probably was digital. He probably just did it on his phone, just signed it. And in law and in life, life doesn't care if your financial advisor screwed you over. They're going to tell you that you should have read that document and before you signed it. That's what they're going to tell you. You can argue it all day. I trusted him. He messed me over. He should be getting punished. They say, no, but you signed it. They're going to say you signed it. I'm telling you, they're going to say you signed it.
Divorce papers, from signing taxes to making sure that everything, my family, like this guy, but 11, 10 years.
What did you sign?
There's a document, right, that he has to fill out with all the things. We have to fill out with all the stuff, right? And so he fills it out. So I'm thinking it's okay, because I'm.
So, you hear that? He said he fills it out, and I'm thinking it's okay. He said, I'm thinking it's okay. Some things you have to know. It's not a thinking thing. You got to know that it's going to be good. You got to look at it. No, before you send it off, let me look at it. Let me read through this. Before I sign this, let me read it.
Coming from a place of, hey, he knows my injury. He knows what I've been through, and we need this money. You know what I mean? And so he signs this, I'm thinking, okay. And as things start to evolve, Terrence starts to be like, yo, I need $16,000. And I'm like, fuck no.
So he goes through that cycle of signing papers. He probably wasn't looking at them. Like he said, he trusted his financial advisor to do all this stuff. Terrence Williams calls him and says, after he do these things, that's how this stuff get crazy. They wait till you get deep in it, and then they try to come get the money, extort you. I don't know if it's extort, but he said, I need $16,000. Pretty much he telling him, you got to pay me $16,000 for getting you these benefits.
Allow nothing to be in your life that you cannot walk out on in 30 seconds flat if you spot the heat around the corner.
So it sounds like starting to see the heat now, but he couldn't go away. So you have to spot these things, man. You have to be savvy in your thinking. Because I think at this point when he asked him for $16,000, in my opinion, I think that he was kind of in too deep at this point. He in too deep. And a lot he can really do. He need to be getting his legal team together right now. Right now. Well, it keeps going.
I'm not giving you $16,000 for what? What do you? That's when I started to know and started to feel. So I called Tony Allen, and Tony Allen told me like, "Hey man, you shouldn't have."
So instead of calling his legal team, if he had one, instead of calling his legal team, getting his ducks in a row, he calls Tony Allen. Tony Allen is another NBA player. He's not a professional. He's not a lawyer. He's not an insurance professional. This dude was a retired NBA player just like he was. They played together with the Celtics.
You shouldn't have fucked with this guy. You should fuck with me. And I'm thinking like, in my head, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Right? And so.
Another time, you gotta trust your instincts sometimes. Your instincts tell you, man, it smells fishy. It smells fishy. That's why you gotta have experience. Having somebody around you with more experience that's seasoned can help you out in life as well. But not everybody has the luxury of that. But man, he's learning the hard way, man.
As the plan evolves and stuff happens, right, me and Terrence get into it. And I'm like, hey, bro, I'm not about to fucking give you $16,000. This is, you know what I mean, bro? Here go $1,000, right? Because he needed a loan. He was begging for a loan. Like he needed money. And so I gave that.
So, do you see how he's building the case against himself and he don't even realize that he's doing it? Whether knowingly or unknowingly, the law does not care. Life does not care. If you don't think about what you're doing before you make the decision, you'll be in the mud just like, and it can happen just like that. And this happens in life. This happens to regular people. This don't just happen to people like Big Baby David. This happens to people in real life. I've made mistakes and said stuff I shouldn't have said, done stuff I shouldn't have did, went places I shouldn't have went. Didn't have no business doing, didn't have no business saying, didn't have no business thinking it. Been there. And that's what I'm telling you. I'm stressing it. You have to be judicial about your decision making.
Just to say, hey, bro, it's over with. Look, hey. So I end up not getting any money, right? Because the plan manager vetoed the plan, right? But I'm still under investigation, right? And so as I thinking to myself, oh, it's over with. Hey, I didn't get no money. Hey, everything's good. There's an investigation going on, right? And as I'm going to rehab, again, I go to another friend doctor that's in Encino, who's also in this situation, right? Who also pled, right, to whatever he did. You know what I mean? So that's another corrupt that I don't even know.
All right, I'm gonna stop because I won't play the whole thing, but that whole clip. But man, everybody that he dealt with in that ring was dirty, man. Everybody. His friends, who was his so-called friends, all of them had dirt under their fingernails. He can say he was clean, he could try it, but I'm telling you, law does not care. Life doesn't care. When you get involved with people and you don't know what they're doing or what they're getting into, guess what? The law is going to get everybody. It's called guilty by association.